Welcome to another Trail Whisperers podcast, episode number 11. And the big fella is currently down and out. You may or may not see those broad shoulders and that hunchback.
Tired, viewers. I'm so tired. Oh my gosh. Stopped off and got a big gulp.
That's why you're tired. It's just giving you false hope.
Let me hook this into my vein here in my arm.
Let me show you this right here. It's called a pour over. It's just straight from God's green earth.
Yeah.
Coffee beans.
I'm not against coffee, but dude, there's something about a big gulp soda. You don't get that way, I don't think. But you never
Do you think there were big gulps in the Garden of Eden?
I'm sure the rivers flowed with it. Flowed with Diet Dr. Pepper.
If you could have one thing in your mansion in heaven, what would it be? Something that from down here on earth that would be only specific to you, unless someone else decided that same item.
Sure. I picked the soda machine from Wendy's.
Jrich and Jerry, we're here with you. Trail Whispers podcast on a Thursday afternoon. Fun stories, chiropractic care. Life's an open book, so sit back in your chair. We're walking down the trail of life, so come along. With Trail Whispers podcast, you can't go wrong.
That's what I picked. Because they have so many flavors. Have you ever used one before? Dude, you select the soda, so like I'll hit Coca-Cola Zero, which is my go-to. And then it has like Coca-Cola Cherry, Coca-Cola Raspberry, Coca-Cola Vanilla, Vanilla Cherry, Tropical. Like it infuses flavor into the soda.
Wow.
So last night I took the kids there for dinner and I got the cherry vanilla and it was just delicious. So I don't know. I know it's not good for you, obviously, but I'm just saying. I love it.
If that was the case, I feel like your mansion would be the go-to spot. Like I could just see Noah, Moses, Elijah, some of these old saints of old. Men of renown.
Come on down for a soda pop here. What would you have in yours? One item.
Oh, it'd have to be an espresso machine. I could just have Americanos, espressos. Yeah, that'd be it.
The goodness of God won't keep you awake, huh?
No, it would keep me awake, but it would just be just enjoyment. I wonder at times if we'll have coffee in heaven.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that Wendy's machine just entered into your front door. Bezos had it shipped there.
When he says I go to prepare a place for you, he's running the CO2 line into my room. Taking longer than I thought, guys. We got to hold off here. Pete, I'll be there in a minute. You remember that Will Ferrell skit from back in the day where he was the Harry Carey, SNL, and he's in heaven and he has a roommate? Do you remember that?
Refresh my memory.
Yeah, so he's like, Harry Carey, back from the afterlife. And he's like, heaven's great. It's like heaven. And then he's like, in heaven, everyone has a wallet with 100 angel bucks in it. And even when you spend money, you still have 100 angel bucks. And then he's like, I have a roommate in heaven. He's an Asian Pete Rose. And they're like, Harry, Pete Rose is still alive. And then he's like, I'm going to waterboard Asian Pete Rose. I gave him 100 angel bucks for some signed memorabilia. You don't remember that one?
I do remember it now. Yeah,
Dude,
dude, that's such a good
that was a
line.
classic. Yeah. So I guess viewers, let us know what you would have in your room in heaven. Leave a comment below. And I know what you're
Yeah.
thinking, man. This guy's always asking for comments, but how YouTube works is when you leave comment and then there's like interaction going on, it suggests the video to other people because YouTube's like, oh, it's interesting. We'll suggest this to somebody else. So that's kind of what we're going for here is like slow organic growth. Like we know it's not going to be overnight, but we hope we're making something that you like to listen to and like you can laugh about or whatever. And so why not have other people listen, you know?
And why don't you just share firsthand experience from this past week, what you were telling me about the podcast?
About the comments or about the growth?
No, when you were watching it. Remember you said you watched it through a couple times?
I watched it once just to check out the quality. Yeah, it was good. Did I say something to you that I'm forgetting about? I'm sorry.
You said you were just laughing and
Oh, yeah.
it just brought you some joy.
I was laughing. It was legitimately funny.
So if it can bring you joy, it could bring others joy.
It probably seems desperate, like sitting there listening to yourself talk and laughing. But I was doing it to make sure, like I was editing it because there's something I have to take out, or like if one of us has to go to the bathroom or something, I can't leave that in there or whatever. Sometimes Jeremy will say a racial slur or something that I'll have to edit. So I have to just listen to them again, you know? So
I appreciate that. That way I don't get canceled.
Yeah, I'm here for you, my friend. Yeah, dude, but I'm just congested. I think it's the changing weather. We've just had, I don't know, it was like snowing, and Saturday was like bitter cold, windy, and then today I start out wearing a coat, and then by the end of the day, I'm in a t-shirt walking around. It's like 65, 66 degrees, something like that. We're walking around the neighborhood, going on a bike ride or whatever. And so I think my body's just like, what's going on? So,
yeah,
I don't know. And late nights don't help either, you know?
What's a late night for you?
Well, it's not necessarily a late night. It's just not good sleep. I'm always in bed at like 10. I'm always in bed by 10 o'clock.
Okay.
This is the one night. Monday night is the one exception to that. But every other night, I'm in bed by 10. But it just depends on the sleep quality. And usually I sleep good. But like last night, for some reason, dude, I could not sleep. And I woke up and I was just like, Lord, please help me get back to sleep here. I need sleep. And I was just tossing and turning for no reason, you know. It's not like I'm stressed about anything, but I can't sleep. So,
I might have a solution for you. So our son has been into this for probably the last 2 years, maybe. He loves having a floor bed. He requests a floor bed. He sleeps in his bedroom on the floor. We put a blanket down. He lays on the blanket with his pillow, and we wrap him up and he goes to bed. So maybe you need a floor bed.
Why does he want that?
He just wants it. And so there's no point in fighting it because I know that he's not going to be fighting this, give him a couple years. He'll be in his own, he'll be in bed. But he just loves his floor bed.
Does he have a bed?
He has a full bed that it hardly ever gets used. On rare occasions, he'll want to climb into his bed. And then normally he's back on the floor.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's wild. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
But he has carpet in his room, I take it.
Nope.
No carpet.
Nope.
Oh, man.
So, and he's obviously, he's well adjusted. He goes to the chiropractor twice a month, so.
Good for him, I guess, yeah. It's like sleeping on a wood board to make you tougher. Yeah.
Okay,
But
so it's been interesting being here because obviously we're still in Florida, so we can't experience the joys of the changing of weather like you've had. It's about 75 to 80 and sunny every day, which is nice. And we have had an interesting experience being in a neighborhood. Every single morning, the neighbors let their dogs outside when they get ready to leave for work. Sometimes it's 4:30 to 6:30, somewhere in that range. And the dogs come running outside and just start barking up a storm.
that's terrible.
So, do you have any solutions for that?
It's a 22 caliber Ruger rifle. That's what I would use. Viewers, comment below. You think that's a good caliber?
Comment below with your caliber.
Dude, yeah, I don't know. I just don't have patience. Because it's like, that's just rude. That's just rude. I'm
Yes.
still waiting to
Yeah.
talk to my neighbor about his dog pooping in my yard. I haven't seen him yet. I don't want to, like, bang on his door. So I'm just waiting for him to be out there. But it's
Are
like,
you
dude,
still getting poop?
there's just poop in this side. Like, so my yard's parceled out. So I've got about 2 acres. And, like, one of the side parcels is right up against this guy's house. Yeah, it's just poop in there. So, yeah. But and I really don't care because we don't use the yard. But like, it's not necessarily the biggest deal. But the problem is in the springtime, I still have to mow that field. So my mower is going to be sliding around back there, and
Oh, dude.
it's going to be all over the tires. And so I'm just going to say like, hey, I'm not asking you to clean up what's there. I'm just asking you not to have that happen again. Like, just keep your dog in your yard if you could, please.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah,
not
you
looking
know
to
what?
cause any issues.
Your luck, you're going to end up breaking down, throwing a belt, and having to climb off and jump into like wet, soggy poop.
Yeah, like sliding under there through this. Yeah, yeah. Just cursing the day I was born. It'll be rough. Yeah, but
Speaking of
yeah,
the
I
day
just
that you
don't.
were born,
What'd you say?
I said, speaking of the day that you were born,
Yeah, yeah. 34 years ago.
today. So viewers, he's registered on Amazon.
No, I'm not. Don't get me anything, viewers. No,
You can
yeah,
send it
34 today, man.
packages.
34.
Did you happen to see the name that I selected for the podcast?
Yeah, you put today's my birthday.
Yeah.
So happy
That way you
birthday.
could be looking at it to remind you.
I knew it was my birthday.
Okay. Well, I
So
didn't know. I mean, because I saw I was in a group message with you, like 95 never looked so good.
yeah, I'm 34. I know
Okay.
it's deceiving. All the wrinkles, extra weight. I'm actually down a little bit. I'm down since I started the calorie counting stuff like 2 months ago. I'm down 10 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
But
like
you're also doing 24-hour fast, right?
yeah. That's what's really taken it. Like, I lost like 4 pounds in a month doing the calorie counting, and then I've lost like 6 pounds in the last 2 to 3 weeks with this fasting. So
Nice.
I feel like I finally got it dialed in to like just do one meal. That's when
Mm-hmm.
I feel the best and function the best. So if I come home, like tonight, I came home and it's about 5 o'clock and I ate dinner and that was it. But if I'm giving myself a big window to eat, like if I'm like, oh, I can eat for the next 4 hours, you better look out, man. It'll be chaos. So yeah, I still do the chicken. It's basically just like, I don't even know how to explain it. Bouillon cubes or whatever,
Yep.
basically is what it is. So I do that at like 11 o'clock. I mainly do it for the salt. I just want to because otherwise I start getting headaches. So I just want a bunch of salt all at once. And that's a way to do it that's not like gross. So I heat it up and then it kind of like fills you up a little bit too.
Mm.
So Yeah, it's been good.
Good for you. Good for you. If the you of today could go back to the you as a child and say, "Hey, 5 o'clock is your last time to eat," how would that conversation look?
Yeah, I think that me as a child would be terrified by this portly middle-aged bald man that's talking to him, but I don't know, it wouldn't go so well. I'd be like, I wouldn't listen. But I would love to go back to the me of like 5 years ago.
Okay.
I would
Was this
love
the
it.
270 you or 280 when you had the swollen sunken eyes?
No, no, no. 5 years ago, that was like during the vegan phase, so I probably weighed what I do now.
Okay.
But no, just I just like to talk to that fella. Just have lunch with myself 5 years ago and like try to explain some things to myself. I feel like I've learned a ton over the last like year and a half to 2 years that I wish I would have learned previously. And then, just like some discipline things and like some daily habit things that have been
Mm,
helpful. So yeah.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. The 13-year-old you would have heard, "Hey, buddy, your last meal's at 5," and you'd be like, "No, it's not. I got 3 snacks coming up."
Yeah, the whale of a pale ice cream is coming at night. Yeah. We're gonna lay down to rest. So
Then if we get hungry in the middle of the night, we're gonna buzz down the steps for some oatmeal cream pies.
it would not have ended well. Yeah, 'cause that was a disaster phase. So yeah,
Well,
but
good for you on the weight loss. That's
when the
exciting.
when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yep,
I
yep.
think you're the one that told me that at one point. I'm pretty sure you told me that. I can't remember.
I may have. I may have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, happy birthday again. Like I said, viewers, he's registered on Amazon. You can just purchase, and it'll go right to his house.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, no, it was a good day. Just low key. I went to my sister's house Saturday night, and they had like a little, they had cake and like some food and stuff. So that was fun. Just hung out over there. Nothing crazy. But
Nice.
then tonight it was just me and the kids. So we had pizza and just hung out. Went outside, played for a while. Um, I was walking on my side yard and I didn't realize there was mud over there because there was leaves all over, and I just sunk in up to my knee in like mud that really smelled bad. It was like that nasty black mud. So that was gross, but otherwise good day. So happy birthday.
Okay. Happy birthday. Uh, okay, that reminded me. You said you fell. You need to tell the story about the sales appointment fall.
I've fallen at several. Which one are you talking about?
Just share them all.
Yeah, I don't know. I've fallen down hills before. Like, yeah, there was one where I was like, there's a patio, and then like I'm under there talking to the guy, and then he goes inside, whatever, and I'm there like getting pictures and measurements, whatever, and I like step off the patio. I'm like, oh, I need to get down this hill to take like a really good picture of the back of this house, and so I am on the patio and I walk down and I fall down the hill, and then I'm trying to get up the hill and I can't get up the hill, and I got mud all over myself. I just feel absolutely ridiculous. Thankfully, they didn't see that. I was at another one where I was walking with this guy, and he was like, "Be careful." He was an older guy. He's like, "Be careful on this hill; it's slippery." And I was like, "Oh yeah, no worries." And I'm too confident, and I just go sliding straight down, slide on my butt. That happened, I don't know, like 6 months ago, and I just had mud all over myself. I actually had to stop and buy new pants because I had another appointment after that, so I just bought a new pair of pants. I just went in at Target. I looked like I just soiled myself. I was covered, and then went into the bathroom. Thankfully they're gender neutral and just changed in there. So yeah. Is there one that I forgot?
No, those
Okay.
are good. Those are
Okay.
just classic. Okay, were you this way as a child? Has this just been your MO?
Dude, I'm just like unfortunate things happen to me. So, for instance, Sunday. So, when's the last time you either sat on a drink or spilled a drink directly on your butt?
I can safely say I've never spilled a drink on my butt. I don't know how it'd be humanly possible.
When's the last time you
Sat?
sat on a drink?
I don't know if I've ever sat on a drink.
Okay, well, Sunday morning, we're in church, and
Okay.
um, we're singing some songs, and then we sit down, and they're doing prayer and everything, and so I sit down, and all of a sudden, I just feel my butt is burning, and I get up like this, and what had happened was my mom had a thermos thing full of tea because she's British, sitting on the pew. I don't know why it's sitting on the pew, but it's there, and somehow I knocked it over, and I'm sitting in this puddle of hot tea that's burning my butt. So I got up and my buddy behind me is laughing about it, or he's next to me actually. He's laughing, and some other people behind me see it going on, and so I had to go out and get all these napkins, bring them in, lay them down on the seat, that way it doesn't soak into the cushion of the chairs. So total mess. Well, then Sunday night, I take the kids out to Wendy's, and they each have a cup in the cup holder, and we just don't have enough cup holders. And so we're going into Walmart because we were getting a toy or something, and I was going to get them each a toy. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to set my drink cup down on the seat of my car. Surely, I will remember that it's there when I get back in. So come out, load the kids in the car, slide into the old leather seat in the Honda Odyssey, slide back, feel the plastic burst on the cup, and ice cold cherry vanilla Coca-Cola Zero is flowing down my backside, all over my butt. And thankfully, we were on the way home, but I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. I was like, what's going on? And I was like, nothing, don't worry about it. I just dumped the rest of the cup outside the door, and I was upset. I was like, it's not a big deal. We're going home. But it's just this is absurd. So what
These
can you
are
do?
normal things for you.
Dude, I spill stuff. I don't and I don't mean to do it. And I'm not going to spill. It'll just be for instance, I've set cups on the edge of my desk, and I've turned around in my chair to say something to somebody, and then when I turn around, the backside of the chair hits the cup, knocks it over, goes all over the keyboard, all whatever, it's what are the chances? I'm just prone, I'm prone to accidents like this. I don't want it. I genuinely don't want it, but it just happens. So,
Dude,
yeah.
that is hilarious. That's so funny with the cup, especially because it's fresh on your mind of this just happened to me at church. So be aware of this in the car.
Yeah. Well, I thought I'll remember this. I'll remember. When I go sit back in the car, of course I'll remember. No problem. I even thought,
Nope.
why don't I throw the drink away? What's the big deal? I've already had a Coke. I got a refill before I left. I don't need this. I'll just throw it away. And I said, no, I'll remember. So I'll just set it down on the chair. No, I sat directly on the Coke all over my pants. So,
Oh, it's almost impressive. So it's definitely a genetic defect. So you can just blame it on your genes. I would like to see, maybe my wife also needs to do a genetic thing because she has this ability where she can be using a knife and she'll set it on the counter and the blade will be facing straight up.
huh.
almost like, you have to intentionally set it and balance it to like rest like that because a lot of knives won't. Nope, it's almost as though she could roll it almost like dice and it will roll with that blade facing straight up. And I'm like, the beautiful thing is she doesn't even see it. And I'm like, hey, did you happen to notice that the knife blade was literally straight up? Oh no, I didn't notice that. Just completely unaware.
That's wild.
So,
So get hurt. Yeah,
yeah.
those are the things that happen to us. Mariah, I know you're listening, and it's an unfortunate cross that we bear. A couple months ago, I came home from work. You get home from work, and I'm by myself, and so come in the back door, and I'm like, wow, that smells like burning plastic. That can't be good. And it turns out I left the stove on with a spatula in the pan all day. My house did not burn down. I don't know how. I had things. See what we got. Hang on, viewers. Yeah, this here is the perfect example. You see this spoon with this burn mark in it? Like you can almost see through it, and another burn mark up here. These are just the kind of things that happen, guys. I try. I do like I'll be thinking about stuff like, did I do this? Did I do this? Yep, did it. Get home, burning plastic. So
Unbelievable. At least you'll have some footage for when you burn your house down when the insurance company is claiming that it was intentional. And we'll be like, no, no, no. Go back to episode 11.
I'm
This
really
is normal.
dumb. Yeah. What can you do?
Oh, that reminds me. I've had some experiences with a roommate from years ago that left the gas pilot light or left the gas on the stove all day. I come home and outside of the door, I can smell gas and I'm like, this isn't good. And I opened up the doors, go in there and see that the stove had been left on from about 8:30 to 5. And it's just like, I can't believe my house didn't blow up.
Yeah. I think I've definitely heard that story before, but just out of curiosity, what did you do next? Did you like open all the windows and doors up, or did you just like leave?
Well, so I actually learned this several years back. So, way past when that situation happened, that you can actually blow it up when you open up that door, that front door. It can create like a vacuum. And so that was totally God watching over me and protecting me because I should have blown up. I even talked to the guy and he's like, you should have blown that house off and killed yourself too. So, but yeah, that's what I did. I went in there, shut it off, opened up all the doors and windows and left the house and just let it air out because, you've got a pilot light on your gas water heater. Anything could spark that and just explode it. But yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Yeah,
So,
I would have to leave too. Like, hey, you can't live here anymore. I'm sorry.
you can't do that to yourself though.
What do you mean?
Well, like,
Oh, yeah, that's why I don't have a gas stove. This is electric.
yeah.
So that's probably why it didn't burn down. If I had a flame going, this place would be a heap of ashes right now. Viewers, it'd be coming to you in a heap of sackcloth and ashes. So yeah, here we go.
Oh, okay. You want to hear a funny story about melting something? So our oldest daughter, she had a Minnie Mouse cup that she loved, this little sippy cup, and it's in her memory box because she was probably a year and a half, and so at that age you're trying to teach them like don't touch the stove, don't touch outlets, all these things. And looking back, this was one of not my greatest moment as a parent. But she kept going to the stove. And I was like, no, don't touch the stove. And she'd touch it. And I would smack her hand like, no, because it's hot. I didn't want her to get burned. Well, come to find out, she had put her cup in the stove. We had turned the stove on to cook something and completely cooked her cup.
That's funny.
Dude, not a good moment.
Yeah, turns out she wants to do what's right, and you're like, stop it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fun.
So.
Yeah, everyone's got that as a parent, though. It's like, that's the thing. I don't know. Because even though like, the right things to do, people say, well, there's no handbook, but, like, there is. I mean, we've got the Bible, and then you've got, like, thousands of parenting books you could be reading. And, like, as a general rule, we know what to do, especially when they're little. But it's like having the patience to do the right thing all the time is what gets me. Because sometimes it just, like, instances like that when it's like, no, I told you to stop, right? And then, like, tonight we were going on a walk and my daughter wants to bring this little remote control car and drive it on the street. And I was like, no, it's not going to work. Like, we can't. So she just, like, breaks down, starts crying and, whatever. And it's just like, those kind of moments those are testing moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where we got to keep our cool, but it's like, man, it's so hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah, we had one of those moments today. You know those days where, like, literally the crap hits the fan. We had, let's see, yesterday. We've had quite a run. Let's say within a 24-hour period. Oh wait, no, yesterday was Sunday. Saturday. Okay, so within a 48-hour period. Saturday, apparently the kids were eating some granola bars, and it didn't land super well with our youngest two. Both of them just had, the poops where we can't make it. Well, I'm taking care of Rowan in the bathroom, who couldn't make it. So I'm doing cleanup duties while he's on the pot. Then I hear my wife yelling from the pool, and then she's like, everyone get out, get out. Apparently Claire decided to drop a bomb in the pool.
Oh, no.
So then I had to fish out some not floaties, but some sinkers. And we had to wait. Thankfully, the pool people, they come on Sundays, so they were able to, sanitize and do all that stuff yesterday. And then tonight we had...
Trap?
What's that?
Did you leave it floating in the trap for him?
No, I fished it all out with the net.
You're a good man.
Yeah. And then tonight, I hear the youngest two, I'm doing something, and I hear them laughing and playing. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They're just laughing and playing. And then I get the report that someone decided to flush a shirt down the toilet.
Oh, no.
So I go in. Of course, we're at a rental house, which, yeah, that's the last thing you want to happen. Water's overflowed on the floor. Both of them claiming innocence. You know how that goes. Because they know.
Down there. I don't know.
Yes. It was her. It was him. Because they know that Dad is not happy at all. So I ended up, because I'm like, I don't have any tools. I have nothing here. And the toilet had all these goodies in it. And I just had to reach in there and get my hand up and under. And thank the Lord, I was able to just barely hook this T-shirt and drag it back through and pull this thing out.
That's so nasty.
Oh, yeah.
That's the stuff you get into as a dad, where it's just like, we need that grit of, like, someone's got to stick their hand in the toilet full of crap and pull this T-shirt out, and it's got to be me. Like, there's no other option here, Like, your wife's not doing it, your kids aren't doing it, you're doing it, you know?
Yeah, but I did have one moment a while back. Rowan decided to throw some change in at my grandparents' house after he had peed in the potty, and I did make him reach in there.
Sure, yeah. You just wash your hands, done, kid. It's your own pee.
Yeah, you're right. There's times it just takes a little bit of grit. So,
yeah.
Speaking of grit, this segment was sponsored by someone that's full of grit. And do you want to share our sponsorship?
Yeah, our sponsor today, and I had a friend at church say to me who listens to the podcast, he said, is that a real business, the eyeglasses business? Is that real? And I was like, yeah, that's real. That's a good friend of ours owns this glasses shop. That's a real business, Enjoy Optical. And he said, but you're just joking about the Dollar General ones, right? And I was like, no, those are real as well. So our friend Wash Jill Cox out there in Oklahoma City, Edmond, Oklahoma. It's a suburb of OKC. Beautiful, beautiful little town. He walks over to his work sometimes. He walks to the YMCA late at night. I don't know what's going on, but he's full of grit. He's full of integrity, and he's full of purpose. And so he goes in and puts several hours in, several days a week at his business, and really just gets the lenses pumping out. And when you go into the shop there, you can use the code SCAM, and you're gonna get $8 off your first purchase of lenses, and you're gonna get a free pair of frames when you use that code. So go ahead and use that. Same code is also good at all the Dollar General pop-up locations nationwide. And you're like, I'm not really sure where to find a Dollar General at. I want you to start heading out where you don't think there's going to be any stores at all, and you'll find Dollar General. Or maybe into like a really bad part of town, there'll be one there as well. So they really do a good job at getting everywhere. So with thousands of locations nationwide, you can go ahead and get fitted for the right pair of frames today. So head on down to either the Enjoy Optical main campus location or to one of the many Dollar pop-up campus locations, and they'll get you taken care of.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. Grit is what I hear when a business owner is willing to walk to work and walk to the YMCA. That says a lot about them.
Yeah, that's the truth, and that's who he is. So we're looking forward in July. We're supposed to have him on as a guest potentially in person. So we'll be able to kind of dive into the business, and I'm going to ask him to bring the numbers and things like that with him. Maybe he'll share some of that stuff with the viewers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm even hoping for maybe a free frame giveaway.
Yeah, the FFGA free frame giveaway. Yeah. Let's talk to him about that and see if we can get that on the books here for this year. So stay tuned, viewers.
Maybe we could do one of those vintage or what were they? The telethon, where people call in and we could be in the background just answering the phone. Just call in for a free pair of frames.
Yeah. Call today, then the phones are ringing off the hook. So, yeah. Someone said to me, I was going to tell you, someone said to me that we should go live on YouTube and do a live podcast episode. And
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, we could do it, but it wouldn't be any different than what we do now.
Do you think we get much interaction, though, because we do this on Monday nights and it's later? Do you think they're probably hanging out watching this, or no?
No, I don't think so. But we could give it a try. Why not? Because basically we just film an episode and you just post it, whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, maybe like a little bit of Q&A or something like that.
Yeah, like pump it up, be like, all right, we're going to go live before the podcast take some questions or whatever,
Yeah.
And then no one will come with any questions, so then we'll just do it.
We'll just sit and stare at each other for 15 minutes without anything.
That'll be good. Back when you're here in person, so at least we'll have each other's company.
Yeah. We could violate the rules of no eating, and we're just like, we're going to eat for 15 minutes, and if anyone wants to comment, go ahead, and if not, we're shutting this down.
Speaking of comments and eating, I feel like that's a good segue into this next section here.
Uh-oh.
I wanted to read some comments that we got on a video. On our last video, actually, I need to read the comments on episode 9.
Okay.
Again, I feel like my voice is starting to go at this point, so excuse me. I usually sound a lot better. So this is your first time listening. listen again, listen next week or the one of the previouses.
Why don't
So
you take a drink of your big gulp?
I
Hit
did.
it
I'm
up
almost
throat.
out.
Okay, you could always switch up to water.
Or I could gargle it. I didn't do anything. We're still in the same position. So, anyways, so we got a comment from a user named at WABC Pastor. And he said, "That shirt, I'm losing it." So that was from episode 9 when I was wearing the skin colored t-shirt. He really
Is
liked
that
that.
somebody that you know?
Yeah, he goes to my church.
Okay.
Yeah, his name's Aaron, good friend of mine. But so then he commented and he said, "Hey fellas, I need my money." So I got him taken care of and I Venmoed him $2. And then he says, a few minutes later, he says, "My son just ate a whole box of Hostess on the way home from church."
Oh.
And the funny thing is I saw it in his son. I don't know how old he is. I think he's 19. And, great kid. And I see him walk in before church. He came over from the Dollar Tree. We have a Dollar Tree not far from church. And he's got a whole box of some off-brand Mrs. Freshly's Swiss roll cakes. And I was like, "So you're, I think this was on Wednesday night maybe." And I was like, "You decided to go with the snack cake, huh?" He's like, "I didn't have time to eat dinner." And I was like, "So you're this is our, there's a McDonald's across the street. There's a Little Caesars. Like, we've got options of, real substance. But instead, we're going with a snack cake." But it seems to be a theme because Sunday morning, he comes into Sunday school. So we've got a Sunday school class for, college, career age, and, some young couples and stuff like that. So he comes into class, and he's got his breakfast for the morning, a box of chocolate-covered peanuts called Goobers, and he's got a box of tropical Swedish fish, and he's got a 1-liter bottle of Diet Pepsi. And that's what he's rolling with for breakfast. So during Sunday school, we're doing a lesson about the intercessory work of Christ, and he is munching on some chocolate-covered peanuts. Cracking me up. He's sitting at the same table as me, and I'm just like, I can't believe this, But he doesn't touch the Swedish fish, which I thought was unusual. So we had communion Sunday morning. So viewers, they pass out a little a wafer, cracker, unleavened bread, whatever. They pass out a little cup of juice, signifies the body and the blood of Christ, right? And so I'm administering, I'm passing out the bread to people and whatever, right? And there's 4 of us guys that are doing this. And so we get all the way through all the people. We go to the back of the auditorium, and then I look over to my right so we've done the bread, and they do a Thanksgiving prayer, and now we pass out the juice. And so he's sitting there with his juice cup in his hand, and he's going like this. He's like, and I'm like, please don't tell me that's a tropical Swedish fish in there, in between the body and blood. And so I'm just like, whatever, we'll deal with this later. So then we go back before we finish the service. I talked to him in the lobby, and I was like, "Let me ask you something." I said, "Did you have a tropical Swedish fish in between the body and blood of Christ out there?" And he was like, "Yeah, it was stuck in my tooth." So I don't know if he previously did it and he was trying to get it out of his tooth. Those things get stuck, or if he was like, "All right, we're done with that. That was bitter tasting. Let me pop a pineapple Swedish." It's wild.
Do you think that you could administer, since you help administer, do you think that you could just, maybe talk to leadership and just say, "Hey, just a thought. Do you mind if we mix in a couple tropical fish for the people who don't like the unleavened bread?"
Yeah, and I think maybe he was confused. Maybe he thought it was the miracle of the loaves and fishes. So he had his fishes. I'm not sure. But maybe we could work something out. slip a few into the pot here. So it was crazy. But so this buddy of mine, this WABC pastor, what was interesting about this comment is he says, "Hey fellas, I need my money." Sounds like this cat's really hard up for $2.
Do you think it's because he's given the $2 to his son for Hostess snack cakes?
It may be. I'm losing it.
We're fueling this guy's bad habits. I don't know if we can do this because this is tapping into us when we were back in the Husky days.
I already paid him though. I mean, that money's already been spent at the Dollar Tree on the
Oh yeah,
chocolate covered peanuts and the Swedish fish. So we'll see what the viewers updated on what he brings. So, anyways,
dude, that's hilarious.
That left a comment for the $2 giveaway we were doing, and it was at Jessica Brislin 12. And so she was in the youth group growing up. She was good friends with my sister. Her and I were friends. And, life goes on, you lose touch, and it's not that you don't mean to talk to people. She's awesome. And so I just messaged her, and I was like, hey, thanks for leaving a comment. I took a picture of it. I took a screenshot. And, she says, and I said, thanks for leaving a comment. Let me know your Venmo name, and I'll send you the $2, because we've got people hitting us up, pastors, saying, I need my money, right? And so, she's like, hey, I'm doing great. And she says, loving the podcast. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. And she said, and keep the money, throw it in the offering at church.
Wow.
I was just like, wow. If only our pastors could have this kind of heart. You know what I mean? If only WBC pastor had this sort of heart. So she's a big fan, though. She said that she listens to it while she cleans the house. So I was just like, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Cleaning the house with us. Thanks for doing that.
Maybe we could have when we're back in person, we could do a podcast where we're together. We're just cleaning the house, and we'll just film it, like clean with us.
Yeah. I'm sure the viewers would love that.
You could show people how to clean a pan that's had melting plastic for 12 hours.
What you do when you come home and you smell burning. We're going to take these simple steps. Yeah, parenting moments that you question sometimes. My kids, they were like, Dad, they stayed the night at my mom's house tonight because I have to wake up early for work, and they're on spring break. My mom's on spring break because she works for the schools. And so they're going to be over there tomorrow anyway. So instead of waking them up at 6 o'clock and taking them over there, I'm just like, just stay the night with Grandma. She's cool with it, whatever. And so, they were like, can we bring the Xbox over to Grandma's? I don't care. But the house was a little messy. And so I was like, I'll tell you what, guys. If you guys get the house cleaned, I'll let you take the Xbox to Grandma's. So then they're motivated. They're pulling stuff out from under the couch. They're getting it all done. I'm looking in here right now, and I'm like, this looks pretty good, So
nice.
Questionable behavior because I would have already let them take it anyways. But I was like, well, you guys got some free time. You make a lot of mess anyways. Let's get the house cleaned up, So good time. But
were those our only 2 comments, or do we have any others?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we did have another one here. Same guy, WABC pastor. He seemed to be upset about the bacon that I get at a discounted price because he's actually one of those guys that has tried to get me to get him the bacon. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
And then he says, wow, I see you give Jerry the hookup, but not us little people. And so there's no offense there, other than the offensive reply that I wrote and said, sorry, I didn't realize you were little. But other than that, there's no offense. It's just, I'm just careful with this. I've talked about it last week. I'm careful with my discounted bacon. I'm getting it for $1 a pound. I just have to be careful. That's all. That's all that it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, whenever there's a discount on the table, and I think, let's just let him know too. He needs to understand when we connect in person, I'm using a whole pack of bacon on those poppers.
that is
So,
true. W.
maybe if WBHBC pastor wants to start bringing over food to you, maybe you throw him a bone here or there.
That's a good point. You are bringing over a pack of bacon every week. Really, the least
Mm-hmm.
I. So yeah. We also got a comment from at my glasses guy, which is the owner of the shop that we advertised for previously in this episode. And we asked the question, viewers, what's wrong with us? I'm sure we have issues. Tell us. And he says, you are bald. So I appreciate the astute observation, something no one else could have figured out. But he's bald
Man,
also. We're all bald.
he's also bald. Yeah. You know what? I love the comments. I mean, kudos to WHBC pastor that was just out there commenting left and right. You know
Dude,
what? We finally got someone on this train.
yeah, him and his wife are loving it, and they said they listened to that episode 9, and they started watching alone because we were talking about it. So I was like, that's pretty cool. So
Dude, that's cool.
yeah,
Dude, we did something fun today, not to jump us too far off topic, but so after watching Alone, I was telling you, like, the kids, they're building a shelter, fire, food, setting traps. We're going on these walks. We're doing these makeshift traps at people's mailboxes with sticks we find. And so today, we took some palm tree branches and we scraped off their, like, dead branches, but they're perfect, almost perfectly like a fishing pole. And they're really strong. And we bought some fishing line and some hooks and some worms at Walmart. So a couple bucks. Like, I'm in $8 on this. And I'm like, this is going to be a great time. And at the end of this neighborhood is a culvert with its standing water all the time. Maybe like, it's kind of more like a creek. And there's like little fish. Dude, would you not believe we went down there today and my kids were pulling fish out of that thing.
that's awesome.
It was amazing. And we were just talking like, almost like Alone, like you guys know how to catch fish so you could eat food and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
It was awesome.
What kind of fish were they? Just like bluegill, or were they just like little chubs or something?
I think they're little bluegill. There's some big ones in there. They're probably about 12 to 18 inches long. And they've got like a very narrow snout or nose or whatever. And I don't know what those things are, but they weren't by where we were fishing today. Because if we go off the culvert, you kind of start getting into some tall weeds, and I just don't trust being in Florida crawling into tall weeds.
Yeah. Gators and snakes.
Yeah.
Homeless folks.
Okay, so tell WHBC pastor as well. He's gonna have to start watching. You've probably seen Swamp People before.
Oh yeah, yeah, great show.
Dude, have you seen the one episode where they have the top 10 most like harrowing experiences for gator hunting?
I don't know. I'm sure I have. When it came out, I was watching that all the time.
Okay,
But
you need to watch it because there were several times where the father was going to shoot the crocodile and it ricocheted off of the crocodile's skull and ended up shooting his son. And the best part about this, because these folks from Louisiana, they sound like they have a mouthful of gravel.
Yeah.
It didn't happen one time, it happened twice.
That's absurd. It's just a 22, but I mean, that could kill you. You could die.
Dude, the one was under his eyeball. I mean, it could have blinded him. So.
Yeah. Thankfully, with a ricochet, it's not coming quite so fast, but that's wild.
Yeah. Dude, such a fun show to watch, though. It's fascinating because you're like, okay, these people make a living doing this, and then I'm like, there's just no way. No way I'm doing what they do.
Be like, I almost blinded my son with a ricocheted bullet, but we're going to stay out and finish this today. Like, I would be like, all right, bud, we're going to go home. Like, stop by the gas station, get whatever you want to eat, my treat. Sorry about that. Let's get this taken care of. Let's get out of here. But he's like, no, we're going to keep going. Oh, happened a second time. And I bet you he didn't just pack up and go home then either, you know? So,
No.
that's just
Oh, no. Well, this same duo, they shot one, dragged it into the boat, but yet they thought it was dead. It wasn't all the way dead. It locked down on the son's foot. I mean, just unbelievable stuff.
Yeah. I respect it. Like, it's fun to watch. It really is.
Yeah.
I would never do it.
Do you think that maybe you're accident prone? Maybe you have a little bit of like Louisiana swamp in you?
Yeah, a little Creole. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it comes from because my dad wasn't like that. And like no one else, I don't think my sister's like that. Rebecca, if you're listening, we can talk about it. But I don't know. I just there's just a lot going on. So.
Are you sure your dad wasn't like that? Because didn't he accidentally shoot himself?
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. So yeah, there were some times. Yeah, and he already thought he could make it through a river overflow and seize the engine up. Like, I guess okay. I guess I get it after I got it. But yeah, story. So he had and my dad was real safety conscious with firearms, and he was in the military, and so like we would go to these things, these church type events where there'd be like multiple churches there, and my dad's like overseeing the whole shooting range. So it's not like he was like some jabroni that just bought his first pistol, but what it was is he was taking his pistol and he was putting it back in the holster, and he was letting the hammer down, and his thumb slipped off the hammer and caused it to go forward and then discharged a bullet. Went in his leg, out his leg, and the way he was standing, I don't even understand how it's possible, but then it went in his foot, out his foot. So 4 separate bullet holes. Yeah. And so naturally, back of his car, in the back of his Ford Explorer, got a first aid kit, and he screams, "God!" But these woods and this like abandoned woods that we used to shoot in, I don't belong to anybody. I don't know how we were there. I couldn't take you there if you paid me. I don't even know how to get there. But I just remember going there all the time when I was a kid and shooting. And so he's out there, and then, he's got this first aid kit. My dad was a big eBay fan, so he's buying stuff on eBay, first aid, army stuff, whatever. So he hears this dirt bike coming, and this guy comes and he's like, "Did you just get shot?" And he's like, "Yeah, I accidentally shot myself." And so this guy is on leave from the army. He's a combat medic. What are the chances that this guy's riding his dirt bike through the woods? And so he picks my dad up, and my dad drives himself to the hospital with 4 bullet holes in his leg. And the doctor is just like, "You shot yourself and you drove yourself here?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What is this stuff all over the wound?" Because all the bleeding was completely stopped. And he's like, "Oh, that's quick clot." And he goes, "Where'd you get that?" He said, "eBay." And the doctor's like, "I've never seen a civilian have anything like this before." But, yeah, you can. And it's actually good to have for like, I have my first aid kit over here, but basically it's like a powder that causes the wound to clot like really quickly to stop bleeding on serious wounds. So that was a wild story. And I didn't know about it. Like, he calls my mom once he's already there. I remember going to the hospital, taking my mom to the hospital. Yeah, she's worried, and I'm like, this is insane. Like, what the heck? Like, but he's seen to look for the bullet, because he's like, I want to have a bullet that went through my body 2 separate times. But he couldn't find it. So he's like digging around in the ground looking for it, couldn't find it. So
That sounds about right. So yeah, that story just cracks me up. But then also the home stitching story.
yeah. So that's where I get the accident prone stuff. Let's just be honest, it's from my dad. So I come down for high school. I'm in like 11th grade or something. And I walk down the steps one morning and, viewers, you're probably going down and you see your dad having quiet time there and reading his Bible or reading the newspaper, having a cup of coffee, like talking to you real gently when you wake up in the morning. I come down and I see my dad with his hand out and he's sewing his hand back together. Sorry. With a needle that you'd use to like a pair of socks with a hole in them, like a fabric needle, and dental floss. That's what he's using. And he's just going in and out of his hand, and I'm like, what happened? And he was sharpening a machete and it slipped off with a stone and sliced him open. And so instead of going to the hospital, he just said, we've got some needles. Here's some mint-flavored dental floss. Why don't I stitch myself back up? There was another story where he like cut his hand on like chili beans or something, and he's there help him sew his hand up. And I'm just like, this is crazy. This is crazy. So
Yeah, that's next level, that type of activity.
yeah, it was. I'll just never forget that. I remember coming down the stairs and like the way our living room was oriented, his chair was like over here, and I look to my right and I just see this, and I'm just like, what the heck? Like, what is going on? Yeah, just life is normal. Like I'm not, I don't feel like I'm scarred. Maybe I am scarred in some way from it, but it's just like, yeah, after that, I just went to school and had a day at school. No big deal. Like, no one else's day started like that, so.
Okay, so it's funny the contrast because I have memories of walking down the steps and, the early morning hours and going to go to the bathroom and my dad's asleep on the toilet.
Yeah, I never had that before. How does
Yeah,
that?
so I don't know how that happens. I have no idea. There was times I can remember going to the library with my dad and my dad would fall asleep. And this time in particular didn't happen when we were there, but he fell asleep on a bench towards like this back section and actually had to wake him up because they were closing and they're like, you have to leave.
He probably looked homeless to these people. What in the world?
Yeah. So viewers, there you go. Our dads were very polar opposite.
I just thought of another accident-prone thing. Man, we went camping, and so we used to take, we go deer hunting is what we did, and so we take off. My dad took off work the week of gun season, and we would miss school for at least the first few days of the week. We always had Monday off school, the day after Thanksgiving, the Monday after Thanksgiving, but then sometimes we'd take off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, depending on how it was going, we'd take off longer. And so what we do is my dad had this junky camper. It was just a piece of junk, pop-up camper, right? But we only used it for that towards the end. When we were little, we'd camp, but at this point, we're just taking it out for deer season. And so we'd go to like a state forest and we'd camp in this camper. And I remember it's just so cold because the furnace in the camper doesn't work. And this is end of November, beginning of December. Like there's snow on the ground. And so you're in a camper. So you're basically sleeping outside. Like this isn't insulated or anything, right? So my dad takes a propane tank, huge propane tank like you'd get for a grill, and he bought a heater attachment for it that screws onto the top, and it just glows orange. It's probably like this big around, probably like the size of a small pie pan. And it hooks onto this thing, you turn it on, you light it, and it's a heater is what it is. So this thing's pumping out heat. The inside of that thing was cooking, right? But what he didn't consider was when you're in a small closed area and you're pumping a higher propane tank into there, everyone's going to die of carbon monoxide poisoning in 4 hours. So I'm in like the 7th grade, 8th grade. I wake up just throwing my guts up. I can't help it. And my dad's like, what's going on over there? And he didn't realize it till like the next day that I had carbon. So I go out there to go hunting. I spend the whole day in this camper by myself. No books to read. It's before cell phones. I got nothing. I'm laying there looking up at this crappy canvas on the ceiling and watching water drip down onto me. And I'm like, this is So, yeah. Accident. I get accident prone. It's just like something's happening where we're not thinking things through all the way or something. Like, my dad was a smart guy, really smart guy, really good with fixing things and, knowledge, able to retain things, a lot of reading and everything else. But I almost died. He shot himself in the leg. He drove through a river, like things that you're just like not calculating correctly at the moment. I'm drinking on seats. I'm almost burning down my house. All kinds of stuff, man. So it's unfortunate.
Hey, it's not a bad thing though.
It makes it interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you got stories to tell for days as a result of his accidents and now yours. Thankfully yours though are just, Coke vanilla cherry on the seat instead of like, chili dog or chili can just cutting your hand open.
Yeah. I'm thankful I've not done anything like that. Needed to stitch myself up, thankfully. Hopefully not, man. Walking around sometime with like missing a fourth of a finger or like half of their finger. You're just like, what happened there?
Dude, that'd be a mess. Yeah, that's something that can't be corrected, but I know like, rib out of place can be corrected, correct?
Yeah, and that's why this segment is brought to you by Adjust Chiropractic over in Canton. So Adjust is a longtime sponsor and also a friend of the show. So head on down today and see Dr. Brian or any member of the staff there. So what they're going to do is they're going to bring you in, and it seems really suspicious. They're going to they're kind of looking over your whole body. They're going to ask you a bunch of questions that you don't feel like are related to anything. But from that, they're going to determine what kind of care you need. And so then they're going to schedule your appointments, and you're going to go in and get adjusted and enjoy some friendly conversation. So when you go in for your first appointment, if you use the code Witchcraft, you're going to get $1 off your first visit. And that's Witchcraft, WITCHCRAFT. Tell Dr. Brian we sent you.
Okay, I know it's coming and it's still hilarious, but it's true. Yeah, you'll get money off. It's kind of like Scam. We got lots of discount codes for you.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So I'm a first-time visitor. Give me an example. Like, what's the environment? I walk through like a set of doors. Am I going down a dark alley? What's the vibe in there?
Yeah, you're going to pull up and you're going to immediately think this is a money laundering operation. Not to be selling supplements and cracking people's backs. Okay? So you're going to walk into the waiting room area and there's supplements everywhere. You feel like you're in a GNC in the late 90s. And so there's two friendly ladies up at the front desk. If you've been going for a while, what's that?
Oh, I just said okay.
Yep, two nice ladies at the front desk. If you've been going there for a while, they'll just check you in. If not, you'll go up to the desk and you'll say, "Hi, I have an appointment at 5 o'clock. My name's so-and-so," and then they'll get you checked in. So you usually sit in the room. I almost said womb, but it's a room, not a womb. It smells nice. Warm. Yeah, they've got diffusers going, and they're pumping all kinds of essential oils throughout the air, and it's pleasant. There's usually some some relaxing music or like some worship music playing or something like that. Really clean environment. You can tell they're hiring some kind of cleaning service in there. So, anyways, they're going to call you back to the room, and then you're going to go back there, take your shoes off, lay on the table. The doc comes in, checks on you, see how you're doing, tells you.
So what are the questions? You said there's a lot of questions that they're going to ask that are really not related to chiropractic at all. Give the viewers maybe just a taste of a few questions that are going to take them by surprise.
Sure. They give you a clipboard with all kinds of questions on there, and they're going to ask you questions about family histories, and they're going to ask you about foods that you eat, and they're going to ask you all this stuff, and you're just like, I'm just here because my neck hurts. You know what I mean? And, supposedly all this stuff's interconnected. I don't know if that's true. So then the doctor comes in and just kind of, he tells you, flip on your back, flip here, pulls your legs around, starts clicking and clacking, and things are loosening up and feeling great. And if you got a problem in particular, you can tell them, and yeah, they'll take care of you. But the code's witchcraft, $10 off.
Oh yeah, good sponsor. We got two very loyal sponsors, so we appreciate them.
And we'd appreciate support them. They support us, so if you support them, that's like you supporting us. So think about that.
Well, with the exception of Enjoy. Remember, we pay them.
That's true, but every time you go into a Dollar General location and get a pair of lenses, we get a kickback.
That's true. I did forget about that. Yeah, that is a nice referral fee we get.
Speaking of Dollar Generals, and we'll close this up here soon. So, I was in Dollar General. I always go to the self-checkout. First of all, I'm in Dollar General more than the average person. I just want to put that out there.
It's about time for you to go see the doctor.
I know. I actually had to cancel. I was supposed to go today, but I had to cancel because I'm with the kids, and so I'm gonna call them and reschedule, hopefully for next week. But anyways, I'm in Dollar General more than the average person. I'm probably in a Dollar General store 4 or 5 times a week. So I don't know how often you're in a Dollar General, Jerry. Okay. Not. So, but.
Oh, I love it.
Dollar General has, it is shady. You have to know what you're getting yourself into when you go in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they've got good prices on snacks and drinks and stuff like that. And so, I'm doing my one meal and I'm like, man, I could really go for something sweet after dinner. So I'm like, I'll go to Dollar General, because if I go to a gas station, it's going to be astronomical. So it's like $1.50 to go in the Dollar General. Or if I'm going throughout the day and I'm just like, man, I could use some caffeine. If I go to a gas station, it's, $3.50 for a soda or a energy drink, or like an iced tea or something. Go to Dollar General, it's like $1.50. Like, it's crazy, the price difference. And so I go into Dollar Generals all the time. And so I was in one, and they had a sign on their self-checkout that said permanently closed. And so I self-checkout, it's so easy, right? You go up and it's like, beep. And I'm only buying one thing, and so then you put cash in or you swipe your card and you're out of there. And so, I asked the lady, and I was like, oh no, permanently closed. Is it broken? And she was like, no, every Dollar General is closing down all the self-checkouts. And I was like, oh, why? And she's like, extremely high theft. And I was like, that is unfortunate. And so she's like, yeah, we're adding staff to the stores to be able to check out more customers because people have been stealing so much. And I'm just like, man, that's crazy.
Dude, when they added it, I was excited because, the few times you go in there, it's like, okay, I can get in and out. I'm buying some deodorant or something simple. I can walk in, walk out like within minutes.
Yeah. And so,
wow.
because I went into another one, like That was up near Cleveland somewhere, and then I went into one in Dalton, which is like, 50 miles away, and their self-checkout thing was closed too. And I was like, oh, they really are closing all of them down. That's cool. So, yeah.
Let me give you a little hack. When you're out and you need a snack, I'm going to tell you where to go. You're going to go to Aldi's, and you're going to go down the aisle that's going to have some Mexican food, spices, and all that stuff. And on the bottom shelf in that aisle, I can't tell you exactly where it's at, but you'll find a pack of pepperoni that's like $3. And then, now I don't know which Aldi's carry it, but they also have a little 4-pack of chorizo sausages as well. If you want a little chorizo sausage, same thing, $3. Both of them are going to get you a good 80 grams of fat, plenty of calories. Quick little snack.
Yeah. Okay.
There's your hack for you.
I'll get their beef jerky at Aldi because it's pretty cheap. I'll get like their beef sticks or something. So I'll do that. And yeah, they've got cheap snacks too, but Dollar General is just everywhere.
Oh yeah.
They're all over the place. It's absurd. So yeah, that's the only reason why I always choose that. There's one right next to work. There's one on my way home from work. Every time I'm out, like, I can always find one within like 10 minutes of where I am. So,
do you think that maybe you could just become like part-time staff at Dollar General?
Especially with the self-checkouts closing because of high theft. I'm working there in the evenings. Come on in and see me, viewers. Yeah. So, yep, I just thought that was surprising. I was like, man, that's a downside. So that's reflection of our society, though, man. Just, unfortunately,
going down the tank.
It's more motivation for us to raise our children correctly and the fear of God and respect for authority and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But, well, anything else you wanted to add here tonight?
I think that's it for tonight. That was a good run.
I'm out a big gulp and real tired. So I think we're going to call it quits.
I can see it in your eyes. You always kind of get that look. Do you remember what you told me years ago, and I'll never forget it, that if you were to pass out, what I'm supposed to do?
No, I don't.
You told me, you're like, in my duffel bag is a container of Oreos. I want you to take an Oreo, and I want you to loosen it up, get the cream, open my mouth, and just put some cream in there to get it in there. But you said, don't put your fingers between my teeth, because you could bite me and not realize it.
Oh my goodness. Yep. Viewers, if you find me later somewhere, just go ahead and put some real cream right here on my gums. Save my okay? Check for bullet first, because that does run in the face. A lot of blood. Don't waste time with the Oreos. Save that for yourself.
And in a life or death situation, listen, we don't condone, theft, but if you're close to a Dollar General, it's probably where you're going to find him. Just run in there and just run out with the Oreos. We don't have time. He doesn't have time for you to wait in line.
I know previously you would have went through the self-checkout and pretended to buy them, but it's okay. I can't keep it together, man. Oh, all right, viewers. Episode 11 in the books. Hope you enjoyed it. Share it with a friend if you don't mind. Just shoot a link over and be like, hey, I listened to these two idiots talked for an hour, wasted my time, but I laughed a lot. So check them out. We'd appreciate it. We love you guys. And yeah, see you next week.
See ya.
Peace.